Welcome in, welcome in. In the car like old times, yeah. Yeah, my wife, she works at that over at Dollar General, and instead of me driving all the way to Dollar General, one of her coworkers has to go right by here, this gas station. So I decided I'd just come up to the gas station, sit in the car for a bit while waiting on her. Well, might as well go live. It is kind of like a feeling of the old times in a sense. Yeah, you're right. How you been? Yeah, I don't see nothing. I need to find. Oh, it took me a minute to realize who you were. What's going on? My screen is, I don't know what's going on my phone. It's like real fuzzy on it. Sometimes it goes out, sometimes it comes in. So it makes it hard to see the names, especially with them being a little darker color and stuff on there anyway. And so I was having a hard time seeing the name. I finally seen what the name was, though. Yeah, today I think it's going to be, today's almost over already. This year, I should say. It's going to be an interesting year. A lot of interesting things are going to happen, I think, this year. I really believe so. I really believe so. I've been, it's funny because, I never really watched the news or read much newspapers growing up. How do I change that?
Hello, I told you I'd make it. I was trying to prepare my.
See if I can change the background or not.
Do what?
Little me. That's weird.
Yeah, my right one ain't, my left one ain't working at all.
How do I change?
So I gotta call Jada tomorrow.
Let's see.
My baby girl Patches is in 8th place in her little America's Favorite Pets.
What is it?
Yeah.
Do what?
Patches is in 8th place in the America's Favorite Pets. She was 3rd for a while.
Who is?
Patches, my cat. She's in America's Favorite Pets
Oh, okay.
contest right now. Yeah, I sent it out to everybody to vote for her. She was in 3rd for a long time for the first few days. But you got to be top 10 to go to the next level, which she should be.
As you come in, guys, if you want, we'll have to comment down there because my screen's messed up. I can barely see the names on there. Let me know who it is.
Hey, Patches. Oh. I'm gonna pet you.
So, have you been watching this whole thing with Elon Musk and the AI and stuff here lately?
I haven't.
So,
What's going on with
more
it?
of what I was saying is coming. I mean, it's just a theory. I ain't saying it's factual or anything else. But out of all the different theories there's been out there, um, that the
Yeah.
AI, Grok, or whatever else you want to call it, whatever it's going to be, the new Antichrist is going to be an AI. And think about it like
Are you
this, okay?
serious?
Well, think about it like this. When this AI is already going to be smarter, it's already going to intelligent. They've been having nanotechnology for years, right? Well, we may not even realize
Right.
right off the bat that the Antichrist person we see or whatever is AI. But like I said, this is just talk. But it could be too with the nanotechnology when they go to heal people or do those miracles and stuff. It could be with the nanotechnology that they're doing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever miracles they're going to perform.
Right.
And of course, they're talking about putting the chip in stuff so they know who everybody is. Well, we know that the chip is from the mark of the beast. So I think it's pretty. Like I said, I could be wrong. I have no idea, but it fits really well. And I'm not the only person that thinks that. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Welcome home, Mac.
Yeah, I'm not the only person that thinks that. There's a lot of people I've seen that think that AI is going to be the Antichrist. And like I said, I don't know who it's going to be, but it is. I would say it's in for the running. You know what I mean?
I just thought it pretty cool. At first, it was freaky, but I think it's pretty cool.
You think it's the AI thing's pretty cool?
But it is going to take a lot of people off the map. No, a lot
Well,
of
you know,
people.
even Elon Musk himself, if you watch some of his,
I didn't. It scared me at first.
well, even Elon Musk himself, if you watch some of his interviews, just talks about how he's scared himself. He said that AI is going to be probably this year. There's going to be a lot of jobs being taken over by robots or AI or whatever else, and it's going to start with the white collar.
That's what I just said. I just said that.
And it's going to start with white collar, not the
I
blue
just
collars.
said that. Didn't you hear me?
No, it's not going to start with the blue collars. It's going to start with the white collar.
I don't know the difference between white collar and blue collar.
White collar people are the ones that.
What's white collar and blue collar? What's the difference?
Well, you let me talk. White collar people are the ones that.
No, I was asking you what they are.
Is there a delay or something here?
Not to my knowledge.
Anyway, so
Could be.
white collar people, or what you call white collar workers, I should say, are the ones that work on like computers and stuff that the stuff that they do, it can easily be taken by AI. You know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
are going to be the first ones.
Pilots can be.
Bye bye, and then it started going into the other stuff. A lot of people think it's going to be the workers, like restaurants and construction places and things like that first, but that wouldn't make sense. It would be the white collar people first or white collar workers first, because they're the ones that's the easiest ones going to be able to take over as far as AI goes.
Well, they're already showing that Uber drivers can be taken over. I mean, look at the cars they're driving themselves.
Right.
They got cars that drive themselves now. I mean,
Right. But like Elon Musk was saying, he says,
restaurants are getting taken over
it's a point
because they can order off of a screen now.
It's a point here at their creation that with this AI that they're at a point now where they have no idea what the future, what it's capable of, what it will be capable of, anything else.
Right?
You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it's a theory. I mean, it fits. It fits in there, out of all the other crazy theories they got out there, some people were saying Donald Trump was. This one guy argued. He believed it so much he argued. I'm like, wow, dude. Nobody knows, but to argue with me about it, that's just sad.
Is Elon? No, never mind.
Huh? Do you not know who Elon Musk
I'm
is?
thinking Elon was the one.
I know him because he's apparently a.
I was thinking.
Huh?
Him and Trump had a falling out, didn't they?
I really don't know for sure.
Didn't he tell Trump to screw off?
real sure.
Not, I think they did. Yeah, Trump told,
I'm not real
he
sure.
told Trump to make a big one. I guess so. That's what I thought on YouTube anyway.
I'm not real sure, to be honest with you. So I'm picking up my Biblical Bopper YouTube, right? And there's a lot of videos on there I gotta go through.
A lot of what?
A lot of videos I gotta go through.
Oh yeah. I used to have a YouTube guy post stuff on, but somebody hacked that whole entire
I love when I can get to a point where somebody can do the edits for me.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people do when they have TikToks.
Well, right now my problem is I just got so many more that I got to catch up on and do still, you know.
Yeah. I'm so weak all day, man. I can feel weak as heck.
So if you were going to try to win somebody over for Christ, how would you do it?
If I was going to?
Yeah, if you were going to try to win somebody, bring them to Christ.
You don't win nobody over.
Huh?
You don't win nobody over. You don't try to win anybody over to Christ. I never heard it said that way. Like,
you never heard it say that way before?
I don't know what you mean. No, I've never heard it said that way before. Win over.
Well, somebody, okay, we'll put it this way. Somebody that doesn't know, is not saved and doesn't know about Christ, how would you go about leading them to Christ? What would you tell them?
You're asking me questions. You're asking too many questions. I don't feel good tonight, Scott. I can't even think straight, man. I don't feel good. I really don't. I told you I didn't really want to be honest.
Okay.
I don't feel good at all. I can't even think straight. I'm joking.
Huh?
I really don't feel good at all. Did you hear my voice?
Yeah, I hear you. Why don't you get some rest?
It's the first, I remember the first time on it. It's the first time I've ate.
Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome out.
I'm so weak that it hurts to stir up spaghetti, man. I feel like I'm at the end of my road. I actually stir more. It's making me dizzy. Did you live by a train track?
Yeah, I know. I never can get away from these dang train tracks.
And where do you go to the train track?
Everywhere I go.
Maybe I'm supposed to make the midnight train to Georgia.
Why was thinking more and more about the core message about Jesus' walk to the cross today. About it every day. It's always close to my mind, my heart. I think it's important that we do that.
I know back in the day, the way we won people over to Christ, we evangelized in the town. We used to go where the biggest drug town was and do prayer circles. That's what we used to do.
There's lots of different ways of things we can
And
do.
they would walk up to the circles and we'd pray for them. Turn this radio off.
Welcome in. Come on up. What's going on?
Hey, Bopper.
How you doing?
You're how do you get the able to go like that?
What?
All right, I'm gonna hop off here, Scott, so we can eat.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Later.
What you doing, Bopper?
I'm just sitting up here waiting on the wife again.
Oh. Wow.
You got about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Somebody came on my page, and I don't have to deal with them that often, but I did like an AI thing last night. I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
I
Where
haven't yet.
Where part of me is half skull and half human, whatever. It's called hell. Well, I'm like, somebody goes, Jesus loves you. So I put down a voice recording going, excuse me, do you have time to talk about the sagas? It won't take long, just a story or two.
Oh, yeah?
You know, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm not going to be playing around with people going, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, turn to God, turn to this, and no. The only person that could ever do that is you.
Well, yes, you do need to.
Well, I do, but, you know, the more and more I get forced or whatever, I'm not going to, and not saying you are, not, you have never pushed me to
Right.
to do that. It's other ones going, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get right, you need to repent. Those type.
Right.
And when you put Jesus loves you, you're not a very good Christian. Because you're persecuting me without even knowing me over a video.
Right. There's a lot of them out there that love to do that too, man. They love to do that. Now, you know, my wife and I was talking today because I went and talked to a pastor today, and we were talking about judgment. And she was talking about how she goes, you pick people apart, you do this. I'm like, when do I ever do that? I said, I do the best I can not to ever make anybody feel judged. I always try to talk to them nicely and stuff. I said, but I understood what she was trying to say, but she was looking at it wrong. Yeah. I told her, I said, I'm not when I go to the pastor and ask him questions, I'm not complaining. I'm not griping or anything else. I truly want to know. I want to understand these things, whether I should be frustrated about it. I'm consulting is what I'm doing. I'm not complaining. I need to do stupid things like hats in church. You know, I was always brought up, we didn't wear hats in church. Of course, that's more of a respect thing, but I did the research and understood what the hats meant now. But there was things like that I would go to the pastor and people thought that I was complaining. And I'm like, I'm not complaining. I'm trying to understand, because the better I can understand these different things that I think of, then the better that whenever I can go on the screen, and when people come into my live, or people come in, when I come in contact with them, the better I can talk to them and explain the things that I understand now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And well, like I said, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, how do they know that I don't already know this? I just don't want to hear it because I already know this, but I'm different and always will be different.
The other
Because,
day, and I don't remember now what it was, but I'll have to go back in, because it was a video of yours. It wasn't a live; it was a video. Now that I remember, you made a video here the last few days ago. I can't remember what it was about now, but I had watched it, and I thought, oh, I need to bring that up and talk to her about that. Whatever it was, I was like, we need to discuss this. But for the life of me, I can't remember what it was at all now. I mean, it wasn't like a big, huge thing, but I was like, I seen where you were going. Whatever it was, I seen where you were going with it, where your thought process was. And I thought, there's something we could talk about, because I understood what you were talking about. But at this moment, even though I remember all those things, I have no clue what it was you were talking about.
I mean, a lot of people on this app makes me ang- makes me angry when I see someone like yesterday I made a video of, or was it earlier? No, yeah, it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday when I ran across the video of the monks walking for peace, and Christians are stopping them and going, "You got to do this and this and this and this and whatever." I did make a video about that
I
because to
think that
me,
might be the video I was talking about, but I don't remember what it was you said now. Go ahead.
I said something about I'm not a Buddha or a practicing Buddhist, but
Oh,
something about
I remember now.
when
I think. Go ahead.
when Jesus was beat so severely and hung to, or nailed, not hung, nailed to the cross, and he and 10,000 legions of angels wanted to come down and destroy us, and it took only forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, looked up in the sky and said it was done. And I'm like, that is God's way of doing a peace walk, and the monks are doing a peace walk. But where was all this when you're proclaiming Jesus is the light, truth, and whatever? You want to condemn everybody else for being different, having different faiths, and you want to call yourself Christian, but you're not being very Christian like.
I see what you're saying. And it's here. I think it was. There's a couple of things actually. One was you said that the angels wanted to come down. I don't think they had. I mean, sure they probably did, but I don't think it ever mentioned them where it's like the angels wanted to come down. The story is, and the things that were said was that he could have called 10,000 angels down to save him, but he didn't. You know what I mean? That's what that was. But then the other thing,
I got that part confused.
Do what?
I said I got that part confused, but
right, and a lot of people, some people do, but yeah, that's a lot. I heard somebody else say that before. Those years I remembered, like, oh yeah. But then there was another thing you had said, and it made something trigger in my head, and I wanted to talk to you about. And first, before I say what it was, now you read the Bible and you believe the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you believe that Adam and Eve was the first male and female?
That's a hard one because, well, I believe Adam was the first male.
Okay.
But I also believe, and it's just my opinion that Eve was not Adam's first wife, but Lilith was.
See, I've heard other people, and I need to actually go home now that I've heard this several times and look up this Lilith person because I've never in my entire life heard. I've heard TV shows talk about it, but it's TV. You don't think a whole lot about that.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Lilith named Lilith in the Bible, and so I'm gonna research that and look at that more deeply before I do a decision on that. I think because right now I'm still at Eve was the first woman because the Bible says it is, and I have nothing to be saying. But I want to look into that for you because I want to understand where you're coming from on that part. Okay, so I will look into that before we have a discussion about that part. But anyway, you understand that God created the earth and God created Adam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you also believe that Adam and Eve or whatever were out of the garden and then sin came into the world, right?
I think the first sin was when Eve took a bite of the apple.
Right. That's the first sin. That's what I mean. That's when sin entered the world.
But I don't understand why that is, because if Jesus put the tree and the apple in the garden and told them not to bite it, why would he tempt them not to eat from the tree, knowing they were going to eat from the tree?
See, that's one of those things where, as far as we believe that God's all knowing, knows everything, knows all time, knows all that. Mm-hmm. When you believe that, knowing those things there, in our thinking, it's like it doesn't make any sense at all, right? I agree with that. But he's way beyond our thinking, is what I understand. So we can't look at his because he knows how dominoes fall, how they're going to act, and all that. So I try not to think too much about how God thinks, why God does what he does. I just haven't got an idea of it. But as far as that goes with the tree in the garden, here's what God did. He created the Garden of Eden, and he told Adam and Eve, he goes, listen, you guys can do whatever you want. Now, remember, at this time here, there was no sin in the world, and they didn't know bad from good or anything else, but they didn't have anything at that time also to be envious of or jealous. I mean, everything was brand new to them. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have the things we have in the world now. So all God said was you can do anything, have anything you want, which was not much. They didn't have TV or anything else. So they just had fellowship with themselves, fellowship with God, taking care of the garden, fellowshipping with the animals. And it's very possible that the animals did talk back then. You know what I mean? Because when sin entered the world and everything got changed, the animal's nature was changed as well. So when you look at it like that, you say, okay, God says you can do anything you want in the garden, but just do not eat this one tree. That's all I'm asking. But he did that not just because you could say, oh, that was a really wrong test for them to do. But he was just saying, hey, I didn't even know that you guys are going to be obedient to me, that you're going to be everything else. But he wasn't going and asking them to do a whole lot. All he said was one thing. Out of everything in the world they had, he says, just do not eat of this tree. But he gave them everything they could ever want, right? Mm-hmm. So then here comes the snake. And the snake knew if that's the only sin, that's the only thing God told them to do was not to eat of that tree. They had no desire to eat of that tree. They weren't even thinking about the tree. They would walk by and wave at it maybe, I guess, but they just didn't even think about the tree. Now the snake comes along like Satan does, and he knows that the tree is the thing that's going to destroy it all, right? Mm-hmm. And so he convinces Eve to eat the apple, eat the fruit or whatever. He says, look, he goes, God's telling you that not to eat it, that you'll die. You're not going to die. You'll just be smarter. You'll be like a God. He just told her all these things. Mm-hmm. And she looked at the tree and says, well, if it's all that kind of stuff, I'm sure God has his reasons, but I don't see why I can't go ahead and eat this. And then she just believed what he said. And then she got the fruit and she tasted it and oh, this is good. I'm still alive. I'm not dead. So then she gives it to Adam. And then not long after Adam ate it, then they both realized, oh my God, I'm naked. Oh my God. And their spiritual, their innocence, their goodness, whatever, it all died. That's what he talked about when God said, you'll surely die. That's what he was talking about, is their innocence dying. And now they have because at that point beforehand, they could live forever.
Mhm.
There was no death or anything else. Now they put by eating that there, they just destroyed themselves. They condemned themselves. You know what I mean? And so at this point here, God's like, okay, I asked you not to eat this. You listen to something else rather than me, the one who created you, the one who gave you all this. Instead of listening to me, you listen to the snake. And so now I can't trust you. I can't believe in you or anything else. And so I'm going to put you out in the garden. I'm out of the garden you go. You can't have all this stuff anymore. Now, if you want to eat, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to grow it. You're going to have to do these things. Now things are going to be hard because you couldn't do what I asked. You got to do it this way. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's where it got all hard and everything else. So you're right when you sit there and say, well, why would God do that? That would put us in a think of trying to understand why God does what he does. And we all want to. We all want to understand. But it also says, lean not on our own understanding. For me, the best way I can look at doing that is thinking of, okay, if you went to the most expensive, nicest, richest house in your neighborhood, and you knocked on the door and they answered, you looked at them and said, hey, I really like your house. I think it's great. I'm moving in today. They're going to go, no, you're not, right?
Yeah.
But if they want you to, if they decide, hey, I'll let you live here, but here's the rules. This is the rule. This is the rule. This is da. You got to do these things here if you want to be here. As soon as you break one of those rules, though, you're out. Well, God says, I've created all this for you, and you can live in it. It tells us he created it for us. He put us inside it. There's so much more to talk about and unpack on just that little spot there, but he created this for us. He gave us a way to be saved by Jesus Christ so that we can have a better place in heaven. Now imagine this wonderful, amazing place in heaven, like we've talked about before, that there's no more pain, there's no more hurt, there's no more sickness, no more death, no more sin. Just peace, love, and fellowship with God, Jesus, and your family and friends that made it there, right?
Yeah.
And he says the only thing, he says, if you want this, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever made. If you want in this is what you have to do. You got to do these things here. And he gave us the 10 Commandments. And of course, those commandments are hard to live by for every person, especially when you grow up in the world we live in now. But he knows that if we truly believe in the gift and we look at those commandments, we do the best we can to hide about it. And when we get there, God sees our hearts. He knows if we're really, really tried, or if we thought, you know what, God, you're just going to have to deal with it on this part here. You know what I mean? And so because of that, God gave us grace. And he says, all you got to do is try. Do the best you can to live by the way I asked. I know it's hard. But look at Jesus. He gave us Jesus. Technically, if you want to go like it, God came down into the flesh, which was Jesus Christ, his son. It gets confusing when you look at that sometimes. It's almost like somebody said one time, God and Jesus are from Arkansas or something. I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, God came down in the flesh, showed us how to treat each other. Told us how to treat each other. Said these are sins, these are bad, this is good, put it on our hearts, all those things there. I mean, and he tells us at the end, there's a time frame. I'm not going to tell you when, nobody knows when or anything else, but eventually I'm going to destroy the world. I'm going to just get rid of it, and I'm going to create a new world, a new heaven. If you want in this new world, if you want in this new heaven, you got to do what I'm asking you to do in here. If not, he didn't create any other place but one, did he?
Nope.
You know what I mean? And so when you look at it like that, it's like, wow. And so then we have to use that information and do the best we can. Like you said, I'm not going to force you. I can't make you or anything like that. All I can do is discuss, love you, pray for you, and talk about it if you want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right. And you and all the others that are in the Bopper crew. Why can't I need? You and the other Bopper crew has never came up and go, well, you're doing wrong by what I see here. You should do this, you should do that. You guys ain't doing that. You're basically seeing my videos. You may not understand it, you may not like it, but you're not there to persecute me because you know that I do believe in God, but I just don't follow that path because of so many others are using him as a fear fear tool instead of love and kindness.
Right. Now, I do want to touch back on what you said before about I don't want to be forced. I don't want to feel like people are pressuring me to do it. I want to do it on my terms and all that. If
Mm-hmm.
we know that the devil uses, the devil knows what he can use against us. He knows what bothers us the most, right? And
Right.
so the devil knows that people going at you and telling you those things pushes you away from God. What is the devil going to do? He's going to make as many people come at you as he can because
Right.
he's winning. He knows he's winning. So what we have to do, and I'm there with you, what we have to do, and it's not an easy task. That's what people don't understand is how it's not that easy to be able to turn your life around, try, because as soon as you start doing this, hey, I'm trying, people are like, oh, well, you should be at this level. No, not even God expects you to be that level. Whenever we turn to God and say, God, forgive me, I've sinned and everything else, he says, accept me and turn from sin. But he doesn't think that we're just going to quit it cold turkey. He knows we got some of us have to work on it. Some people can quit some things cold turkey, but not everybody can. He knows that we're not perfect, but he sees our hearts, he sees our minds, and he knows that we want to be and that we want to try. And he will put people in our life to help us. All we have to do is trust in him and really be sincere about wanting to change. That's it. That's basically all it is.
Exactly. And li- like I'm trying to say is the ones that always go, "Oh, Jesus loves you. Turn to him, do this, do that, do this." They don't know what is in my heart if I haven't accepted him or not. They don't know that. They don't know if I do pray to him. They don't know that. They don't know if I talk to him. They don't know that. But it's like every single time I turn around, I get Jesus loves you, turn to God, do this, repent, get down on your hands and knees, beg for mercy, do this. Why should I have to do all that to satisfy them
Don't
when
think you're satisfy
my
them.
walk my walk is perfectly fine?
So now, see, my walk's not even perfectly fine.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And the reason I say that is because that goes back to us thinking that we're all good people. We believe we don't think we're bad. We don't think we're evil or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But
Mhm.
if Jesus had said himself that he's not even good, that only God's good, for us to even say our walk is perfect seems like that's the same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because we're
Yeah.
constantly trying to be a better version of ourselves. At least that's what we should thrive to be. You know what I mean? But there's so much. This is what gets hard, and it's been really hard for me over the years. We know God's there. We know God loves us. We know all. If it was just a relationship with God and Jesus and all that, we didn't have to worry about other people getting involved or bothering. Well, it'd be just on point. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
because we're human, because we have the flesh, and because we live in this world, it's not that easy. We have to trust, and that trust is something that gets challenged every day. Because, like you said, you have people coming to you that think, well, you're not good enough. If you really believe that you're a Christian, you need to be at this point right here. You know what? I bet that person that's telling you that you need to be a good Christian, that says they're Christian, they're not at that point. They're probably down here too. You know what I mean? Because if they
Exactly.
were up here, they wouldn't be telling you that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
this is exactly why I like talking to you about certain things because I could say my point of view and it may not align to your point of view, but you understand also where I'm coming from. If I have this conversation with someone else, they'd be like, oh, no, 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 no. You can't have your own opinion. You can't have your own interpretation. It has to be this way or no way and all this good stuff. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. I myself, and we all do, every single one of us, I don't care who you are in this world, unless you just shelter yourself from the world, we have to deal with prosecution. We have to deal with jealousy. We have to deal with people who think we're just not good enough, whatever else. I know, I've been going to this church down here, and I'm just pointing this out here to use this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
This church I have been going to, I love the people there. I love the people there, no problem. It's the first real non-denominational church that I've ever decided, hey, I want to make this my home, whatever. But I felt like God led me there. But anyway, I've been going there on Sundays. It's a different church relationship that I've had with any other church I've gone to. And of course, there's different times, things like that. Anyway, but because of that, I do what I do on here. Talking with people like you and other people, I do my things, my clips, my videos, and I put them on YouTube. And I want to go out and do Bible studies with people. I mean, there's lots of things I want to do. I have in the past taught classes and stuff in my own home or whatever. I've taught Sunday school at church. I've been a counselor, things like that. Anybody on here, like you for yourself, like you said, if somebody was to say, hey, do you think Scott or Bopper has God in his life? You wouldn't even have to second guess it, would you?
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? But at the church where I go to, because see, here's the problem we have, and or at least I have right now. And I know I'm not the only one. You have certain people in your life, especially at your church, that you expect that no matter what you do in the world, what everything else, you're trying to do your best. You come there and you're like, guys, I need help. And your church family is going to see you at your darkest, hardest times sometimes. They're going to see you crying. They're going to see you in pain. You're going to see you trying. And that's because you need each other to grow better. But what happens with some of them is they start judging you. Well, how can he be doing all that stuff there if he's got these problems? He's got this here. He's got that going, da, da, da. And then whenever that starts happening, and then it gets the gossip starts going around, then you just get whiffs of it. Then you start feeling, and that devil starts working at you going, well, you're not as good. If the people that you go to church with don't believe in you, maybe you're not as good as you think you are. Da, da, da. And for a long time, I was listening to that voice going, you know what? I'm not getting any encouragement from anybody but online. Da, 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 da. And I was listening to that voice. And then and people would think I'm crazy, whatever. But when I got baptized on the 28th, and I come up out of that water, I really was a new creature. And I saw things differently. It's like God was speaking to me in a different way. And he's like, hey, this church has served its purpose for you. You need to go out and do what I need you to do. Start going to these other churches. It's time to get out there again. It's not time to hide anymore. You've done your studying. You can still do your studying, but it's time to get out there. And when I went to talk to my pastor about that I go to this church and a couple other people, their reactions weren't what I expected. I expected more of a loving reaction, and I did not get that. Mm-hmm. And it was very disheartening. And the old me would have got so upset about that and got defensive back to him and everything else. But instead, just like on here, I stayed calm and loving and talked to them. And at the end of the conversation, we had a very good conversation. We prayed and everything was okay. I mean, we had our understandings, and it's like, yeah, we could still do some more talking, but it wasn't like the frustration wasn't there anymore because I was able to, I guess, between the two of us with God's help, defuse the conversation. You know what I mean? Where in the past, I wouldn't have done that. So I know the closer I get to God, the harder the devil's going to work at me, but the more God's going to give me, more strength he'll give me. And the only way for anybody to understand that is through experience. And I know I've told you before, and I hope you understand when I tell you these things about me believing in you and what I believe you're capable of and all that, it's not blowing smoke up your butt, okay? I truly do believe the things that I say, okay? And I think that, and I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever get a day, but I believe if you ever got to the point to that day where you're like, you know what? I'm done listening to these other people, these haters that are getting me negative. I'm done listening to that negative voice in my head. And still, instead, I'm going to start leading by, you're going to be this different creature, okay? And the only way by doing that is by, well, you'll figure it out. I don't even have to tell you, we can talk about it like that, but God's going to help you through that. And I believe that. And once you do that, because of the voice you have, I've heard you talk on lives, I've heard your videos and stuff. When you take that, and excuse me for the way I'm saying this, because it's not all negative, but it is coming out of frustration on a lot of the videos you have. And I mean, it's understandable. Once you turn that frustration into more of a positive thing, you are going to reach so many people, because you just have this, the way you speak, the confidence you have in your words sometimes. Whenever you finally figure out exactly, because you're still searching, we talked about that already. When you figure out exactly where you stand, wow, the things you're going to be capable of. I'm going to be, I'm just imagining it right now. I'm just in awe of it. Because I know, I feel it, I believe it.
I mean, some of the videos, yeah, they do get on my nerves, and yeah, my frustration does show through it. I try not
Understandable,
to
though.
let it show. And then some videos, I go, why are you zealots even doing this? You're picking verses out of the Bible, you're weaponizing it, and you're not really leading anybody anywhere because you're weaponizing it. And that's why so many Christians and non-Christians alike are walking away, because of people like you. By weaponizing, fear-mongering, not really doing what God told you to do.
Right. Let them do what they'll say.
And then they message me back and go, well, how come you know more about the Bible than how could you know more about the Bible than us? And I'm like, because I've been there. I've been there, done it, seen things, heard things that I did not agree with. I tried to stick it out, but I've seen so many people fearmonger and use him as a weapon. And then there are some out there that don't do that. But the majority does. And then they just go, and then they're quiet, and they never come back with a comment, because they can't really argue with something like that.
Right. Before the accident that I had and all that, like I said, when I was 16 years old, I had first understood and read, and we went through detail about the last 14 hours of Jesus' life, and it changed my life. It really did. And then reading, of course, in Matthew and other things, I wanted to help. I took those things to heart, trying to help people and things like that. But I never really took the time, I've read the word, but I never studied the word, you know what I mean? And so I lived my life a certain way. And of course, I didn't have a bad life. I didn't have a great life. I had a good life. For me, I have no real complaints. But once after my accident, I understood that I was headed the wrong way, because I was constantly trying to do all kinds of different things and helping people. And it was more about me and how I wanted to do it than it was the way God wanted me to do it, And then as after time went on, and I got on TikTok and everything else, and started making videos and getting groups and some friends and stuff together. And then we started the SGC Bopper Family Boppers Crew. When we first started that, I was still right there, spread that kindness and love. And I would talk about God, but I never shoved it down. And I still don't. I don't shove it down anybody's throat. But there's no way for me to talk about love and kindness without having God there. And the way I was doing it before, there were so many people, and I was like, we can accept everybody, cannibals, da, da, da. And I'm like, well, I don't know about cannibals. We might lose members that way, but, but I'm like, everybody's accepted everything. The way I said things back then, people misunderstood me, and they thought, okay, he's right there. He was like, all right, let's go to the churches where everybody's accepted, and you don't have to change. And I'm like, that's not what I was saying at all. Mm-hmm. I was saying that, and I think most people knew that we need to learn how to be more loving and caring. and it comes from understanding ourselves and the way we're supposed to live. But now I understand because through experience, and that's why I keep telling, especially here recently, been telling people, you have to experience it. You have to really study and be into it to have the change. Because once I got off TikTok for a while, because I felt like I was letting everybody down and I was messing it up, and I felt like I wasn't doing it good. I let that voice get to me, and I started going to church again, and I started studying the Word. And I asked it like 50 different questions and more. And I mean, I had studied so much that it really did transform my mind and my thinking, and just so much things about it. I mean, there's things, frustration, sins, the way my mind thought about different things that just faded away, that just disappeared. And it wasn't like I was going to the gym to work out on these things. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to the gym. I was just studying the Word, and these things were disappearing and falling off of me. And my understanding was different and stuff. And so now it's just like, wow, I want to share that experience. But the only way you can do that by sharing that experience is just saying, hey, let's talk about God. Let's talk about these different things. Why do you feel like you do? And everything like that. When Zorn messaged me the other day and, was saying about what she had done or whatever, she was on my heart. And of course I talked to her, and she was like, she said she was missing. So I said, let me ask you a question. I said, you come to my life, because you weren't even in the live yet. I said, you come to my lives here lately. I said, this time you came and Dark Phoenix isn't even here, and you came up on my screen and was here. I said, and you messaged me and you told me what you told me about that. I said, now, was that a recent thing or something that happened in the past? She said it was a recent thing. And I was very concerned because I was trying to be very careful not to talk, spread her stuff on here, But then I asked her, I said, you know who I am. You know what I talk about. You know I'm about God and everything else. I said, and that's pretty much every conversation I have always turns to God somehow. I said, but you also know, you see me trying to talk to people and help people, like, with me and Dark Phoenix conversations I've had with other people. I said, so you come to my life today, and Dark Phoenix wasn't even here today. I said, did you come because you needed to talk and you needed somebody to listen to what you had to say? Because I'm here and we can talk. I said, we can even get off here and you can talk if you want to. I said, or are you here because you know what I talk about? You know that I talk a lot about the gift, and you feel like you're missing something and you'd like to know more about it. And she said, that one there. And I was like, wow. And I got goosebumps. And I was like, wow. And you have been probably one of my very best friends that I've made on this app. I want you to know that, because I've talked to lots of different people, and we've had some good friendships. I've had some great friendships. But as far as being able to strengthen each other in our faith and things like that, there's been a couple others too, but you have been definitely one of the best friends I've had in that category. And that's one of the things, I think you'll think you even came to the live bit. I told Bonjour, I said, Dark Phoenix is going to be your path on that. I said, she's wanting to learn, you're wanting to learn. I said that together. I said, maybe, who knows? Maybe the two of you guys can be accountability partners, I said, who knows? But the fact that out of all the people I know, knowing your background and things that we've talked about that's involved in your life and everything else, and where you're trying to get, I think it's an amazing thing that you've made it as far as you have. And I am proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I look, because I was asked, why did I, and this was from another Christian friend of mine, and he goes, why did you walk away from God? And I told him the story, but I said, I never walked away from God. I walked away from the people. And he goes, well, if you walk away from God, if you walk away from the people, you're walking away from God. I said, no.
That's not the same thing.
God is God.
Right.
I never walked away from him. I may have been angry with him for a very long time, but I never really left.
I think, this is my opinion, my honest opinion, though. I think there's so many people, every single person in the world, I think, really, especially those who actually come to Christ and everything else. I think we all definitely have at least one moment, if not more than one moment, that our faith, our belief, our trust, our love, our sanity is tested.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it has to be. The reason we're tested like that is because you think about the world. We're all creating God's image and everything else. You got people out there all the time that are testing other people, whether it be right or wrong. There's reasons people do certain things. You know who Mr. Beast is
Mm,
on
familiar with the name.
YouTube? He's the richest. It has the most subscribers on YouTube, and he, the girl that he's marrying or has already married or whatever else, his fiance, when they first started dating, he would ask her all these weird questions, and she didn't understand anything. But what he was doing was he was testing to see if she was a gold digger or not, because he wanted to know that she would actually loved him and not just his money. Because if it was his money and what he could do for it and all that, the relationship is not going to be a very good relationship. You know what I mean? So he was testing. So I think for God, especially with what He's given us and what He's done for us and everything else, I think He tests that for us, not just for Him to know who we are, but so that we know who we are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And my friend was asking me some very personal questions at the beginning, and I'm like, look, I've had intercourse without being married, but of course that was because of a situation that happened when I was 11. I never knew what real love was, never knew what it was like to be loved. I was a harlot of sorts. And he goes, well, you sinned. And I'm like, yes, I have sinned. Yes, I have gone against what it says in the Bible about marriage. But you cannot really blame me because of what happened to me when I was a child. And he goes, well, you were active when you were 11 and you must have wanted that. I said, one, I am your friend. Two, don't push it to the point where I'm not going to be your friend. Three,
Right.
don't push it to the point where I'm going to shut down. What happened to me was not on my doing. I did not want it. I was just a child. I was not active. I could not have been active at that age. I wanted to wait until I could give myself freely to someone who loved me for me.
Right.
I did not get that. I got being a harlot, being someone who laid with multiple people. But again, I did not know what love was because I was never shown that.
Right. I get that. I get that. I know from myself and experience with love and everything else, love is, of course, love is a verb, and there's different kinds of love. It's like that. But for me, my dad died when I was 8 years old, and growing up, I guess at a young age, or something like that happened. It wasn't just my dad. I lost my grandmother, then my granddaddy, and then my dad. It was like every year it was somebody. And so when you have loss in your life at an early age like that, you can't help but develop in your mind somewhere this wanting to be connected quickly, and wanting to bond fast because they're not going to be there long. There's different people, different ways you can go. Me, I wanted to bond. It made me want to bond quicker because I guess in my mind I felt like the time's limited. You know what I mean? Where other people would be like, well, no, I push people away because the time's limited. So there's different ways people think of things. There's different perspectives and all that. But as I gotten older, I realized that with love, it really comes down to being there for somebody. You know what I mean? And it says in the Bible, it says, if you want to be first, be last. It says, the greatest Christ law was love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second one was to love thy neighbor as thyself. And that verse right there is one of the hardest verses for people to get a grasp on. Because if you thought about just the first part of that, or just the last part, love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, then you got to think about, how do I love thyself? Because if you look at the way we treat it, do you think anybody really treats themselves the way they should be treated? We don't. Because if we did, we wouldn't eat the things we eat. We wouldn't say the things we say. We wouldn't do the things we do because that we know is wrong. You know what I mean? So we don't really love ourselves as much as we say we are. So it's best to find out. For me, loving other people, showing other people love, teaches me how to love myself. Because I know the things that make me feel good. I know that when somebody says thank you, it makes me feel good. I know when somebody says, hey, you made my day today, or the nice thing, whatever, I know what makes me nice. So if it makes me feel good, it makes me happy to hear compliments or whatever else. I'm not the only idiot that feels good when I get good things. You know what I mean? So I want to give that out. So I try to make other people feel like, like whenever I was working at a restaurant, there was me and this other server, and there was this family that came in that he had several times. And he says, they never tip, they never do anything. They gripe, they want stuff for free, yada, 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 yada. He goes, you can have them. And so I took them. Well, by the time they left me a $10 tip, and they've had a very good experience. And he says, how did you do that? I said, we had a full restaurant, and I had several customers, but every table I had was made to feel like they were my most important customer. And that's what you have to do. You have to make people feel good. If you want them to feel good about and want them to have good, positive go out, you got to throw positive at them. This Mr. Beast guy I was talking about earlier, the reason he is the highest, most richest YouTuber and has more YouTubers than anybody else is because of his heart and because of what he does. He's not a Christian. Unless he's changed since the videos I've seen, and he's not a Christian or anything, but he loves people. He loves to help people. He wants to help people. And what he did and how he got so big was, as soon as he started to make money on YouTube from a stupid video he made, the money he got, he went and gave it away to someone else. And so he filmed himself giving away, I think it was either 2,000 or 10,000, 5,000, I don't remember how much it was, but he filmed himself giving it to a homeless man. Well, that video went viral. And so when he got more money, he went and gave more money away. And he just constantly was giving stuff away to where he was making more money. The more money he made, the more money he gave away. And now he's the biggest YouTuber out there. I mean, he gives people cars, houses. He's gone over to Africa, built 100 wells out there for them. He went and built 100 houses and just gave them away. He moved in this one house, ordered pizza, and tipped the house to the delivery driver. Anyway, because he's constantly giving stuff, hey, I want to know this guy too. Give me something, right? Everybody wants him and loves him for his money, and he's a cool guy and everything, but if all the money went away, he can't help to think to himself, are they still going to be there? Will they still be my friend if I was broke? Because he's made a lot of friends. I mean, he's got celebrity friends now, you know what I mean? And so for him, he's going to have, and there's other people that do this too, but for him, he's constantly wonders in his mind, do they like me for me? Or do they like me for what I can do and what I have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we need to learn how to love people for them and not what they can do for us, not who they are or anything else, just the fact that they are a human being. And I said something here a while back about when God lays on your heart to help someone out. Even if it's on a street corner, you see somebody out there. Yeah, there's people that make a living doing that or whatever else. But if God lays it on your heart to give to them, give to them. Because what if that was you? What if the circumstances happened and that was you sitting out there? So for me to know how to love myself, I think that person out there, that's not just me, that's Jesus out there.
Yeah.
They need
Like,
love. They need help. So if I can help them, I'm going to. It's not, what they do with whatever I give them. That's between them and God. Afterwards, I did what God asked me to do. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like, I brought up a movie that I was going to watch this weekend. Now, yes, I like scary movies. I like the Conjuring movies. If you've ever seen them, then you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And I told one of my friends in my life that I'm planning on watching The Conjuring: The Last Rite sometime this weekend by myself, alone in the dark, because my husband doesn't like scary movies like that, but I do. And I had someone going, "Oh well, you're a devil spawn and this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Thank you, your father, my dad loves you and this, that, and the other." And they go, "Who's your dad?" I'm like, and the only thing I had to do was point up to the sky, and they go, "Well, how can that be your dad and letting you watch scary movies? That's
Oh,
not
I
very."
know people have such judgment on Christians. They really do. You know, when you say you're a Christian, people think that Christians are do no sins. They do, and yes, that's what a Christian should strive to be. But that's not necessarily where they are. You know what I mean? We all struggle. We all have problems. We're supposed to love and encourage each other, not think, oh, we're supposed to be at this level. But yeah, I can go on and on about that. You know, I
Exactly, and
love
it's not like
talking with you
anything. And
so
it's
much. I love talking with you. Michelle
and
just
it's
got here from her job, so I got to get off here now. But I'm gonna try. How often do you go live? Now tomorrow. I,
uh
when do you usually get on?
well, I'm on every day, just making videos and whatnot. Tomorrow I'm not really doing anything. I'm taking a break from doing laundry. I got a little bit more that I have to do. And Saturday I'm going live again with my brother because he's got two new puppies that he wants to show me. So I'm going live Saturday. Sunday,
Well,
not
next time I
really,
go
because
live, every
I
time I
have
go live, I'll
work
just
to do.
make sure that I send you an invite.
Okay. Oh, did you know that you can send pictures now on TikTok?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I just think, yeah. That would have helped out so much before whenever I first did the stickers. Because I've had to make videos to give them to people or just give them through Messenger, but now I can just give them through TikTok. So yeah, it works out a lot better. I like that. I've
Did you
taken
send me
advantage
that Dark
of that.
Phoenix picture?
Yes. Matter of fact, as soon as I get home, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep.
All right. Bye.